What's up, everyone? Kevin Leslie, and welcome back to the At the Thousand Training Solo podcast, where we discuss just different topics that I am having, or different topics of conversation I'm having with the athletes that I work with on a weekly basis, different questions that they're having. And one of the things that I wanted to dive into today, and I sent this out in a newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, go to my website, subscribe to it. I leave them pretty infrequently, but when they come out, hopefully they provide value for someone out there. But one of the topics that we dove into was maximizing winter training. We're here, tomorrow's December 1st, about to close out, the end of November, and really kick things off with, winter training, where a lot of athletes, especially up here in the Northeast, are transitioning from the water now to the ergs or weight training or whatever, cross training, or maybe a winter sport if you're participating in another sport. And whatever you're doing, you're now in this period of time where you have the opportunity to really progress your fitness forward, because the winter is a valuable time where you're not thinking about racing, you're not thinking about lineups, you're not thinking about all these other things that go into a spring or fall racing season. You now have an opportunity to really take a step back and think about training, fitness, development, figuring out your weaknesses, and being able to kind of take advantage of the opportunity to turn them into strengths, things like that you don't otherwise get when you're in the heat of the racing season. So couple of the things that we talked about, or the things that I sent out in the newsletter, was four things that I think athletes need to take into consideration when trying to maximize their winter off season. So the four things: number one is routine. Number two is diversified training. I'll talk about that one as well. Creating a community. And then number four, right? Recovery, right? So those are kind of the four main topics that I want athletes to consider when they're trying to maximize their winter training. So let's take it one by one. All right. So first one is routine. It's very, very important, whether you're training with your winter program and you're doing a full-on winter training, or you're doing a winter sport and you're trying to sprinkle in some rowing specific movements on the side so you can continue to push your fitness forward. Or if you're fully on your own because your team doesn't do an organized winter training, and you now have a lot of freedom in your schedule where you really have to be optimal or optimize your time wisely, it's incredibly important to establish a routine. What are the days that you're going to be training? What time are you going to be training? Making that as consistent as can be week after week, so that the focus is on consistency. A lot of that legwork's taken out when you have an organized team that you're working with, but you may be someone who does need to include additional training sessions into your routine. Well, okay, if you're practicing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, when are the opportunities where you can do training that's specifically tailored towards you, right? Maybe it's Wednesdays, maybe it's Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, right? Whatever it may be, figure out the routine and make sure to stick to that routine at any means necessary. Now, life gets in the way and you're going to fall off the routine every once in a while, but that's okay. Then you just have a short-term memory and you pick it back up the next day. Number two, diversified training. I talked about this one on Instagram a couple of days ago, but having this well-balanced training routine or training program that best sets you up for long-term success. So you have balance in your training. That means you have your 3 or 4 sessions on the erg. You have your strength training or resistance-based training exercises or athletic movements that you're doing. You're also incorporating cross training. Maybe it's run, bike, swim, something that gets you outside, a little change of pace. And then also you have your body maintenance type work, right? Your pre and post work if you have lingering injuries. Your core, your mobility, stuff that's 10 to 15 minutes. But if you do it on a daily basis, you're now, again, you're prepping your body for the long term. So diversified training is very important. You can't just be on the erg 6-7 days a week without any kind of other movements, or you may get to a point later on this winter where your body's starting to break down. You have to have a diversified training routine. Number 3, create a community. Have a training partner. Find someone that you can link up with. A lot of us have our team and 20, 30, 40 athletes that we can train with on a daily basis. Others are reliant on finding some kind of sense of community, whether that's joining a class or finding a teammate who's also in the same boat as you and doing the work together. If it's remote and you have no one else by your side, maybe you are linking up with someone who lives on the other side of town. You guys can't train in person together, but maybe you're sending text messages, holding each other accountable, creating a sense of community to help keep you consistent. Because again, I'm going to keep coming back to that. Consistency is the most important thing over intensity, right? You have to stay consistent over the course of these next couple months here in the off season if you truly want to maximize this winter. last but not least, recovery. Recovery is one of the biggest things. Got to make sure you're sleeping, got to make sure you're fueling, got to make sure you're eliminating things that can set you back, right? Like staying up late till 3 a.m. and only getting 4 hours of sleep, right? Eventually, you're going to tip over and catch some kind of cold or a sickness that's going to keep you out, right? And the only way we get better is by being available to perform the sport that makes us better. So any kind of lackadaisical effort in trying to stay available, right, and minimizing our recovery, it's going to set us back where we're going to get to a point where maybe we can't be training for a week or 2 weeks or even a month because you got something pretty severe that you're trying to work your way back from, right? So recovery, eliminating dumb decisions, right? Like after a hard training session, it's 25 degrees outside, making sure that you're putting layers on, doing things like that, getting sleep, waking up or finding routine, fueling before and after. All those things from a recovery standpoint are going to be really crucial to keeping you available so that you can perform the training that's necessary to maximize your spring and set you up for long-term success. All right. So that's all I got. Again, you're maximizing your training. You're maximizing this winter off season so that when you enter the spring, you are now ready to move forward. All right. That's all I got. Enjoy your day. Keep working hard. Take advantage of the winter. It's the best time of year to really push your fitness forward, but you got to set yourself up for success. Have a great day. Peace.